Good evening. Welcome to the Selectmen's Meeting for July 16th, 2019. Call the meeting to order. Could I get a roll call, please?
Don Klein, present.
And Sue Licio is present. Please note that Wayne Miller is absent tonight. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chairman's additions or deletions, I think we have a couple of things under announcements.
Madam Chair, I do have a road opening permit that came in today and has been approved by the superintendent. The timing is of the essence for the contractor, so I was hoping you'd allow it to be placed on the agenda this evening.
Just came in today?
Came in today, yeah.
Yep, that's fine. I want to add that as 3-4. And what's it called?
It's a road opening permit.
Do you have copies?
I have a copy.
Okay. Thank you. And there are a couple of little things under Selectmen's announcements, updates, and general announcements, I guess. And I have a couple of items for the next agenda. Okay. Okay, public comment period. Anybody wish to speak? If not, let's go on. 2.1, appoint Alan D. Ventura to the Council on Aging for a term effective July 16th, 2019 to June 30th, 2020.
I make a motion that we appoint Alan D. Ventura to the Council on Aging for a term effective July 16, 2019 to June 30th, 2020.
I'll second that. Questions? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for volunteering. 2.2, appoint Joan Watkowitz as the representative for Townsend to the Wild and Scenic Rivers Stewardship Council.
I make a motion to appoint Joan Blockowitz as the, the representative for Townsend to the Wild and Scenic Rivers Stewardship Council.
Second. And this is different than what we appointed her
Correct.
to before. Okay. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2.3, discuss appoint a member or representative of the Board of Selectmen to the Joint Transportation Committee for one-year term effective July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020. So, under discussion, Jim, would you mind, can you give us background? What is this?
Certainly. The Joint Transportation Committee is a subgrouping under the Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission. And the Transportation Improvement Plan, you've heard it referred to as the TIP, most likely, is the governing document that'll show how federal monies are to be brought in, matched with state monies, and then utilized across our region for public work roadway projects. So if you're going to get sidewalks added on a state highway, if you're going to get a road repaved, it goes through the TIP process. This committee sits on top of the TIP. So it's discussed and prioritized under the guidance of this committee.
It's discussed and prioritized by this committee?
Yeah.
Who's been on it before?
I believe Cindy King served on it for the last couple of years.
Does it need to be a Board of Selectmen?
Either
Member?
a member of the board or a designee. So you can pick somebody if one of the seated members of the board isn't interested or doesn't have the ability to.
Would you be interested in it, Dawn?
I don't know much about it, but I'll attend if you Haven't got anybody else?
Do you know how often they meet?
Quarterly at a minimum, and then as needed beyond that. And it would be something that you'd be thrown to the wolves on if there are, if there are pieces that are specific to Townsend, then Jimmy would meet with you and go over what our interests are. So you wouldn't be left alone.
And that works because you're liaison for highway anyway, right?
Right.
Does that work for you?
That works for me.
Okay, then I'm going to make a motion.
You're making the motion.
I move that the board appoint Don Klein as the board representative to the Joint Transportation Committee for a one-year term effective July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020. Do I have a second and an okay, I'll be nominated?
I'll second, and okay, I'll be nominated.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for volunteering. 2.4, appoint Edward Coffin as a full-time police officer for the Townsend Police Department effective July 29th, 2019 to June 30th, 2020, with a one-year probationary period contingent upon the passing of a pre-placement medical exam and background check.
I make a motion to appoint Ed Coffin as a full-time police officer for the Townsend Police Department effective July 29th, 2019 to June 30th, 2020, with a one-year probationary period contingent upon the passing of a pre-placement medical exam and a background check.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Yay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2.5, discuss appoint an interim water superintendent. Jim?
Madam Chair, at the last meeting of the board authorized a series of steps for me to take to have somebody sitting in the position of water superintendent during the pendency of Superintendent Rayfuse's absence. And the top one was to work with the water commissioners about the possibility of contracting with an area water superintendent to work a set number of hours per day, each day of the week, just to keep the paperwork in order. And the commissioners recommend, and you have in your packet, information regarding Tom Orcutt, who is the superintendent for the Groton Water Department. And the commissioners have taken a vote to recommend him, and his resume is enclosed in your packets. He comes with a wealth of experience, and it would be my recommendation as well that the board vote to contract with Tom Orcutt for the interim water superintendent position for a term of 8 weeks at 2 hours per week, 2 hours per day, 5 days per week. And after 8 weeks, he would revisit it with his board in Groton.
So at this point, it's just the 8
Correct.
weeks. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we, excuse me, appoint, what's his name?
Tom Orcutt.
Orcutt, to the interim water superintendent as outlined in the discussion.
That okay?
Yeah, particularly as recommended by the water commissioners.
As
And
recommended
as
by our
recommended,
commissioners.
yes. I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One, approve sign a road opening permit for Unitil 373 Main Street, new gas installation. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve and sign a road opening permit for Unitil, reference 373 Main Street, new gas installation.
Second. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3.2, approve and authorize a 3-year agreement in the amount of $21,300 annually with CM Geeks, Inc., with a flat rate of $90 per hour on an as-needed basis, IS, for technical support and/or consultation for IT support services for the Townsend Police and Fire Departments. Could I get a motion, please?
Do we discuss now or afterwards?
We can discuss when the motion goes on the floor.
Okay. I make a motion, we approve and authorize a 3-year agreement in the amount of $21,300 annually with CM Geeks Incorporated with a flat rate of $90 per hour on an as-needed basis for technical support and/or consultation for IT support services for the Townsend Police and Fire Department.
I'll second that, and we have discussion.
When I came in this evening, this was on the table. Is this different than the one we had in the packet?
No, it is not.
Nope. And this is only for the specialized IT services for the
For police and fire, police and fire.
That's all I had.
Madam
Okay.
Chair, I know that you and I had a discussion about the fact that the board had listed as one of its priorities to do regionalization and seek to do IT regionalization for not just
For
general
support services.
government, but police and fire as well. So the concern was, is there something inconsistent with doing a 3-year contract for police and fire IT support in that position of trying to regionalize? And I just would draw your attention to the fact that in the document, there is a 10-day notice provision where the town can exercise its right to, it comes in under section 11B of the draft contract, which is the document you received on the table tonight. So with a 10-day notice, the town can terminate the agreement. So this gives us the stability of a 3-year contract, the stability in pricing of 3 years, but the ability to get out in 10 days if we decide that there's something better that serves our interests.
Are we familiar with this organization?
I am
at
not.
all?
I've actually never dealt with them before, but I know that they went through a pretty grueling process with Deputy Chief Sartell and Fire Chief
Okay.
Boyden.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay. If not, could vote on that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3.3, discussion regarding training by town council on August 27th, 2019, 6 p.m. And I believe Carolyn confirmed that that would be at the meeting hall at the library senior
Correct.
center.
Correct.
I can't stress enough how important this is. This is on open meeting law and ethics, a chance to ask questions, give examples, et cetera. And it's for all boards and committees, and I think it's extremely important that everybody hear the same thing. So I hope that everybody will show up, and
Yeah, we're going to...
we're going to have some refreshments there too.
We'll have
Food
it.
always helps.
We'll have it as a mandatory issue for those in the organization beneath your authority, and a strong ask for those that are outside of your authority.
So at least everybody under us
Yeah,
is
gotta go.
Okay, good, excellent. And, I mean, it's just, it's making sure that we all understand how to do things to keep us from having issues down the road, so better safe than sorry.
Exactly.
And what's going out for that? You've talked about it at the department head
It's
meetings.
been discussed at the department head meeting now twice. It was in the tickler again just today at the department head meeting. And there'll be an email. We've scheduled it intentionally during hours where employees are supposed to be working anyway, on that date, so 6 to 8. So we're not paying anybody overtime. We're not compelling somebody to come in when they're not otherwise supposed to have been here anyway. And we'll just reaffirm each of the weeks leading up to it, that it's in fact that date, and make certain that people are in attendance.
Okay, what are we sending out? What are we sending out to the people who aren't supported by someone?
We can actually model it after the document that you and I worked on together when we were going to have Mr. Cronin come out. Remember that there was
Yep.
an informational card that we had put together, so we can get that same format or template used and get that into everybody's hands this week.
Okay, so in their hands physically, in their mailboxes, and you know what? I was told that those mailboxes, for some people, are full. I don't know if new members
Know that they have
even
mailboxes.
know that they have mailboxes, okay? So that gives us another,
Sure, we can chase that separately.
Thing to
But
talk
we'll
about.
Make certain to have a hard copy in the box as well as email.
an
the-
email to the
the
chairs.
chairs that we have, and then the staff that either support or at least rub shoulders with, to make certain that they reinforce it as well.
Okay, all right. It's the little ones that I'm not sure.
And the ones that would most likely run afoul.
Right. And what do we consider, I mean, I know like Lindsay and those folks, in terms of the employees, all report into us, but conservation, for example, conservation, we appoint, and then they're kind of on their own. You know, we don't have, quote, authority over conservation other than for appointing.
Right, you don't have any authority over their deliberations and their activities, but you do have the ability from an employment perspective, because they're union employees. Their employees run directly to you under the contract.
Their employees
Right.
do.
So you can't compel the Conservation Commission, because once they're appointed, they are there until
And that's
their
my
term
point.
runs. Yeah,
Okay. So they're one of the ones that we're urging.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, excellent, thank you. Any other questions on it, Don?
No.
Okay. 3-4, road opening permit that we just added.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have a road opening permit that came in from Eustis Cable Enterprises of Bedford, New Hampshire, and this is for some work on the side of the road on Scales Lane, and it's a length of cut of 960 feet, depth of cut is 2 feet, and they're looking to start as soon as possible, and Jim Smith, the highway superintendent, has approved, and we do have the fee received in hand. So we're all set with this. If it pleases the board, a vote to approve the road opening permit for Eustis Cable for work being performed on Scales Lane.
Make a motion that we approve the road opening permit for Eustis Cable for the road opening on Scales Lane.
Second. Anything else you need for that?
That's
Okay.
perfect.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You need us to sign? Okay, 4.1, first item, communication plan for special election road debt exclusion question. We talked a little bit about this when we were talking about our goals and whatnot at our work session. I mean, talking about it is one thing, making it happen is another. Do you see this as something that we need to start talking about today? I mean, because we talked about a few things. We talked about a potential flyer kind of thing, email, I don't know, having public hearing, you know, public discussion kinds of things. To be clear, okay, this isn't an attempt to do a campaign. okay? This,
Which you cannot do.
this is not a campaign. This is because of the low turnout and because of feedback we received, it seemed as though there were lots of different opinions as to what the reality was. People were confused about the vote. They were confused about why do we have to do this one? Why wasn't there a dollar amount? So lots of things that apparently didn't get well answered the first time around. So people have said, are you going to do it again?
Right.
And we can. But let's make sure that we're going to get all that out. Do you have any thoughts on it, Don?
I was given a suggestion by somebody, and I don't think we have a social media website, site outside of our own website.
That's kind of under our policy thing that we need to
do
talk
not
about.
have a social media, Twitter or Facebook or Instagram presence.
Okay. That was one of the suggestions. Personally, I think the flyer is a better option. It doesn't have to be all that inclusive. It just needs to point people to the appropriate where to get the information. And specifically, we could probably set that up on our own website, making sure that people understand where they can find it when they log in.
And we could list whatever meetings we might want
Yes.
to have
exactly.
too, right?
The other things that can be effective is actually bringing the information to other locations instead of expecting people coming here just because you've announced a meeting, but perhaps holding a meeting at the Council on Aging when you know that there is going to be attendance. Holding one at another location in town where there might be a large congregation of residents. So bring the message to them as opposed to expecting them to come find it.
All right, so the question that I have is, who plans out the details?
If you give authorization, we can put the details together at a staff level with those types of recommended either documents, electronic output, and outside locations with a calendar. So
Can we find out how much it would be to mail something, bulk mail, to every house in town?
certainly.
Something else, John?
No, but I would, whatever we come back with, should come back to the board, and I think, I'm sorry that Wayne couldn't be here because he's on vacation, but I think he might have some suggestions too as to how to approach this, because I know he's had a lot of calls, I've had a lot of calls, I know you've had calls, all stating about the same thing, and so I think we kind of fell down somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I agree.
And my expectation wasn't that you would vote to authorize this to be put together and that would be the end of your involvement. It comes back and needs your final blessing. We would just put the
So if
the
you could
letter
draft,
pieces together.
if you could draft out the plan and draft out the communications.
Absolutely,
Okay, and bring it back to us at the next meeting?
yes.
Thank you. 412, calendar schedule, topics for work sessions, July and August. Okay, the topics that we had talked about were the Board of Selectmen policies, the prepping of the personnel policies for Collins, the Collins kickoff itself, and we were going to set schedules for the negotiations as well, because all those negotiations are coming up. Okay, so this is all scheduling stuff that I wanted to talk about. I didn't write it down, shame on me. Work sessions, when did we say that we were going to do them, Don?
We've done the one for July. The next one I thought was August 16th.
Correct.
And the way I remembered it from last week, and lately my memory isn't, we said we were going to work on going through all of the Board of Selectmen policies,
Yes.
pulling out everything that was related to personnel,
Correct.
and begin to actually go through the Board of Selectmen policies.
Correct, yes.
Okay? Was that all we needed to do for then?
That was that one.
Okay.
That was my understanding on that one. We did have the discussion, Sue, and you and I, again today. There are several Board of Selectmen policies that have been kicking around for 20 years that exist in the
And
file.
I have copies too.
They exist in the file or on the server, not necessarily up online, so it's putting all of them on the table and making certain that everybody knows what's out there.
Yeah, and I talked to Carolyn a little bit about that yesterday too.
Kill the things that no longer apply and just clean it up.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay?
Mhm.
But if it has to do with personnel, we'll kind of put it aside
For the
Collins thing.
right.
Now, the timeline for Collins, I want to make sure that we get together as a board prior to that. Have we got a date that we could work with?
They said, you pick a date and they'll make it work, because they know that your schedule's harder as a board. I'd recommend, actually, Madam Chair, that in the next meeting on the 16th, you also do prep work for Collins, because if we try to set another meeting after the 16th work session, just to prep for Collins, only to then try to set another one within the next week or so to actually sit with Collins, that's going to be quite a lot.
Yeah.
To try to
I
put
thought,
together.
I think Wayne had made a recommendation to do that the last time we met.
So we're saying the 16th time? Did we
Did
say what time?
Yeah, I think we did. Hold on a second.
I don't have it down.
We set the time for 10 o'clock.
10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing that because that was a good time for Wayne.
Right.
Yes.
I just want to make it clear to the public, we're not trying to hide anything. You're all welcome to come, but we are doing some work session work during the day because it's easier for all of our members to make it. And hopefully we can squeeze that into a 3-hour thing.
Right.
Okay, so can we say 10 to 1? Can you confirm that with Wayne?
I will.
Please. So, Board of Selectmen policies, sorting, first run-through discussion, and then prep work for Collins. Okay. Can we set another one tentatively?
To actually meet with Collins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's good for you, Dawn?
Most any time is good for me. Fridays are the best, but again, we got to work around Wayne's work schedule too, so I don't know exactly. I think he comes back tomorrow or Thursday?
How about this? We'll get his next available.
I think he's gone all week.
Okay.
Is he gone all week? Okay.
When
Because he was doing Placid and Lake George, so
When he comes back, could you just get his date and let us know, please?
Yeah.
And that way we'll have a second one, and that'll be for Collins. One, two. And our next regular meeting is supposed to be the first, well, our regular meetings, we're trying to do the first and third. If we do the first, it's going to be on the same night as, and this gets into an announcement, but it's the same night as the police.
National Night Out.
National Night Out. I'm okay with starting our meeting earlier
Doesn't
on the
ma-
6th?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me, again.
Yeah,
It's Wayne's.
because there are a couple of items, I can't cancel that meeting. we have some urgent stuff on that,
And-
okay?
And Brad can make it early.
Good, okay, all right. So if you can confirm that with Wayne,
Okay.
I don't have any problem starting early. If we can't, we can't. And for that evening, if the chief can't make it, then I would want the deputy,
Absolutely.
please. What else do we need to schedule?
I did get, Madam Chair, I know you're designated by the board as the collective bargaining rep. The 23rd and 25th, respectively, of July, the fire department,
July what?
23rd or 25th. They have those 2 dates. They'd love to sit down and at least go over ground rules and say hello.
I don't like my calendar. I need my... Here, fix it so I can see the calendar, the month, please. I don't know why I can't get that. Thank you. Okay. 25th. What did you say?
23rd or 25th.
Definitely not the 23rd.
Okay.
The 25th for which one?
Fire,
Fire?
10 a.m. if it works for you.
Works. And here well, that's fire.
Just fire.
I thought he was going to be doing public safety.
That's right. Yes.
Can you do the 25th at 10 o'clock?
I can do either date, doesn't matter to me.
Well, then you pick. So
Let's-
that's Dawn.
Yeah, 23rd is a Tuesday, right? So I can do that.
Excellent. So, can you do 25th as well if one works better for them?
Yep.
Okay. Excellent. And I got
Just
a
let me
message
know what time.
at 10 a.m. here. Madam Chair, I just got a message from Selectman Miller saying that he can do a work session the following week on the 23rd. So we've got one planned for the 16th right now. He could do the 23rd or 24th, so either Friday or Saturday of the next week, because we do need to work winning.
And we're saying August, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So he's saying August what?
23rd or 24th he could do. So the week after we're next works at AOA.
I'm away that whole week.
The week of the 19th, you're away?
Yeah, I might be able to get back early on the 23rd, but I wouldn't be able to be here for the meeting. I could do the
24th?
24th.
Saturday.
Yeah, taking my grandson out to late for the week.
Nice.
Keep trying.
Okay. Does 24th would work though?
Yeah, I can.
Oh,
come back.
24th would work?
Yeah, I can come back early.
Oh, that's fine.
So Saturday, 24th.
Well, wait a minute, that was going to be for Collins.
Yeah.
Would they come out on a Saturday? Oh, okay.
I think that would be very appropriate, yeah. It's surely good to have an emergency, a moment to make an emergency announcement,
Sure,
just regarding the heat wave coming up.
sure. Can you just wait till we're done with this item?
Certainly can.
Thank you.
So I'll notify Collins tomorrow.
So if you notify Collins, so that's with Collins, nice, love it. 10 o'clock?
Okay.
Excellent. And Did we hear anything, or did we have anything we'd like to set for clerical supervisory?
Not yet. I know that the clerk group has a meeting to ratify the revised that you ratified this Thursday. And they have a new union rep, so Nadine has officially retired.
Oh, really?
So the new union rep will be in town this Thursday for that ratification, and then they're going to game plan the next month or two with the groups.
Okay. Well, could you shout out to them and then just, I guess we could just schedule that?
Yeah, I did mention it to one of the department heads today, who's been the rep for one of the groups, just to make certain that they bring that up on Thursday before they all depart.
Okay. And then the highway water, I wanted to confirm, that's yours too, right?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so you got 3, I got 2. Wayne lucked out. All right, good. Shirley?
Yes. I'd like to announce that we will be having a cooling center opening at the meeting hall between the library and the senior center, 10 to 5, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, in the event of the extreme heat.
Okay, that's great.
Okay?
Thank you, Shirley.
I'll talk to you about logistics. Thank you.
Be a good idea to send out a blast email for that.
Absolutely. Get it on the website.
Okay, so is it all right if we just, I mean, like, you've got 3, I've got 2, we'll just each work individually with Jim to set up our sessions and just go from there,
Okay.
okay?
Sure.
That way, I just wanted to make sure that we talked about it as a board first. Good, I want to get going on that. 421, personnel updates. Discuss authorize Lindsay Butler to attend the MMA Suffolk Certificate Program for Local Government Leadership and Management. Jim?
Madam Chair, there is a program that's offered by the MMA and Suffolk jointly. It's a certificate in local government management. I know at least as recently as my predecessor had been authorized by the board and had been sponsored financially by the board to do so. And I believe there was somebody even before Andy when the program first came up, but I don't
No, I don't think,
Yeah,
I don't think I remember that, but I remember Andy doing it.
Yeah, it's a competitive program to get into. Lindsay applied. In fairness, she wanted to make it clear that if you were disinclined, she's still going to go because she's making that commitment of time for herself, and she thinks it'll better the town.
And it's a master's level program,
It is.
correct?
It is. So she's looking for the board's consideration to allow her fee to be paid, and there is money within her budget to do so.
And that was, what, 2,500?
It is, correct.
And it's just down in Littleton.
Correct, this year.
How many Saturdays is, I mean, how many weeks? It's Fridays,
It
right?
was Fridays, and I thought it was 10.
Okay,
I believe it's 10.
okay. So she's going to have a lot of work to do
She will.
in 4 days, plus she's going to have to scrunch on the, it's a pretty robust,
It is.
program.
And she's been doing her bachelor's and master's levels courses nights and weekends all along, ever since she's been with us. So it's not going to be a new load for her. She's accustomed to
excellent,
carrying that.
wonderful. Love to see it. Love to see our people doing that.
Yeah, I strongly recommend people to do that.
And this program, I've heard nothing but good things about it.
It's an excellent program.
Yeah, excellent. So do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we authorize Lindsay Butler to attend the MMA Suffolk Certificate Program for the Local Government Leadership and Management.
I'll second that. Do you need the,
And to authorize payment.
and to
And to
authorize?
authorize payment.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent.
Okay, Jim, what else have you got?
Just a couple, just date updates for you on recruitment. The maintenance technician and municipal custodian deadline is posted for the 19th, the end of this week. And as it sits now, we have 3 each applications for the positions. The grant writer position, there's a deadline of preferred consideration of August 9th, but it will stay open. It's written to stay open until it's filled, and we have 1 applicant for that to date.
Where are we advertising that?
It's on the Beacon, the MMA website, and either the Sun and the Voice or the Sentinel and the Voice, a combination of one of those 2 papers. And that's out on the Mass Jobs site as well, which is one that we've had some good luck with in the last couple of postings.
If it's on the Sentinel or Voice, then it's part of the Lowell Sun
Sun.
conglomerate. And
Right.
that should be in the same classified for all of them online anyway.
I don't believe we get the Sun when we do the Sentinel.
Can you check on that?
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying it is I think that you might draw people from,
North and east.
yeah, more toward the east even.
I know the Beacon will be a good one for that, and then the new Mass Jobs site is, we've received our best play out of that in the last couple that we've done, so.
Yeah, excellent, okay.
And then the admin support position for the Housing Authority, there is an in-house candidate, and I'll have that for you at your next meeting.
Oh, well, that worked out.
Yes.
Nice. Good. Next?
Yep, general updates, status of the study for HVAC system library senior center. This is one that was put on hold at the request of the Energy Committee when they were finalizing the streetlight program, which, as you know, the meeting before last was finalized, had the press release and the meeting with Unitil. Mark had taken the direction from the board to work with the Energy Committee, find a neutral third party that has no history with or connection to the Library Senior Center Meeting Hall. There are a couple of companies that he's reached out to let them know that we're coming to the market with a scope to have an assessment done on all the systems from ground to the top of the building. So he was away using some vacation time he had on the books the last couple of weeks. He's back as of last week, and as of today's department head meeting, he confirmed he'll be reaching out with the Energy Committee to get this kicked off officially this week.
Okay.
So he'll reach out to Brett.
Can we try to accelerate that timeline as
Oh,
much
yeah.
as we can?
Once it gets going, it'll go. He's laid the groundwork pretty nicely for what the expectation of the board is.
I just don't want to be into the winter
Oh, sure.
and have us in the same place again.
Gotcha. Confirmation of date for...
So,
I'm
before we leave that,
Yeah.
can we just ask for a stake in the ground for a date when we're going to have some results on that?
Have a report back from the independent
Please.
third party on recommendations for system improvements.
Yes, I'd like a date,
Yeah, I mean, if we
please.
back...
And that speaks to our goals list where,
Yeah.
target date.
And just to kind of put brackets around it, if we back out of the special town meeting, which we can anticipate, say, October for safety purposes, we back out a couple weeks from there to have something in a warrant article that gets us into late September. So if we have a mid-September for the drop dead for the report, that gives them the month of August. And,
That would be fine for me.
okay.
Dawn?
Gotcha.
And maybe we could just update our list with our 2-date columns.
Absolutely. Confirmation of date for update from council on cable contract enforcement. I did speak with Kate today regarding what the status is, and the letter is in Comcast's hands. We've not heard back from Comcast as of yet. She was going to reach out to them. So I know that that's...
Do you think we can get an update at our
No,
next
absolutely.
meeting?
No, absolutely.
Even if she just wants to join us by phone,
Okay.
okay? So put down next meeting on that. We're going to add a new business, an old business section. There's not going to be anything under it.
That'd be nice. Status of IT upgrades and training. I got an email on it today with some updates, so allow me for a second. All right, the data video install, so this project here is still scheduled to begin on the 18th, so this coming Thursday. They'll be in to finalize the work on the cameras here. We already talked, we have the camera mounted and the internal wiring complete. And then on the overall implementation of the IT program, they have finished the main wiring or rewiring of the water department, cemetery and parks, and highway. And they will be beginning next week in the town hall. We do have the air conditioning taken care of for the IT closet, the server closet. And there's a list here from Bossum that corresponds to the scope documents that we were dealing with at our last meeting about the install steps in order that'll be taking place, and I can forward that to each. It's Greek to me. Don, it might mean something to you, so, but I'll forward that off to you. So the satellite or external offices have been wired, and they're ready for hardware and setup, and they're getting into this one this week.
One of our policies talked about, and I think it was the internet policy. We talked about 2 Wi-Fis.
At the department head meeting today, we talked about the fact that that policy requires there to be a guest Wi-Fi as well, that when employees are in the building and they're doing the town's business, they would be on the password-protected town Wi-Fi. If they're on their break and they want to be playing Sudoku on their phone, they're...
Or if somebody comes to a meeting and wants to use a guest one.
Right, then there would be a guest one for that purpose. So
Okay.
Bossum is making certain that that's set up as well.
Excellent, okay. I happened to see that again on the policy, and I said, we didn't finish talking about that. Thank you.
Sure. Updates regarding closing of 19. Lori expects that they'll have everything wrapped up in a timely enough fashion that will meet all deadlines required by DOR. So we'll be in queue early for free cash certification. The moving forward part for the way you've got it written, improvements for next year. Redrafting the form for year-end transfers. We've had some discussion about this, that there were 2 floating around at one point, one that provided for a little more detail, and some people use that, others use the older one, but even the one that provided for some detail wasn't even sufficient enough detail. So Lori and Anna and I will be working out that form over the next couple of weeks or a month or so, and we'll get that to you for your
And
consideration.
can we get a draft of a policy for that as well?
Absolutely, yeah. I think we may have, in the financial policies, that's another whole grouping of policies that are out there, financial policies.
It's under the operating policies, I think.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that the new one gets incorporated.
Yep.
Okay,
Does, excuse me.
Yeah.
On the closeout of the budget, when does the auditors come in to start the process?
They probably won't be coming in until, if we get everything in, probably until late December, which ties in with the letter that we have a little further in the packet.
okay. Any other suggestions for improvements going forward?
I think we should spend some time talking about the budget itself and how things went at town meeting and whether or not there are tweaks, because believe it or not, soon enough, we'll be kicking off budget again.
I think it's important that we do it while it's still fresh in our minds.
Right.
You know, what
Right.
worked, what didn't, kind of thing.
Yeah. You know,
I wasn't here, so I couldn't tell you.
You weren't
what-
watching?
Nope. Long way to watch.
But,
and we have two schools of thought on the percentage column, for instance. You know, some people like to look at the dollar differential as well as the percentage differential from year to year. Others think that the percentage is
well, if
potentially
it's
too misleading.
$150 and that happens to be 100%,
Right, right.
you know, you've got to look at them together.
Yeah, and I'd rather see both,
I would too.
but I know some people feel pretty strongly about not having the one that tends to light people up.
I think it's more transparent to have both, but, you know, I don't know if we need a formal work session to talk about that stuff, but if you think it's indicated.
Yeah, any changes that I would make in how I start laying out that document, I'd obviously be speaking to you about in advance. So if individual members of the board have thoughts, you can send them to me. And, you know, I'll record all the prospective changes and then come back to the board. So it won't be serial communication because I'll be rolling it out at a board meeting.
Okay. Could you just remind Wayne on that one?
Absolutely.
Because I just know he's not trying to, he's not going to plug into YouTube to see to see what's gone on. Is that it for budget?
That is, thank you.
Okay. You have a reminder.
Town council office hours, the last Tuesday of each month at 4 p.m., so July 23rd, August 27th, and September 24th. And we addressed that at department head meeting again today, just did a bit of a touchdown to see how people have liked this change in policy. And to one of them, they like it. They feel that there's a greater degree of comfort in them doing their jobs, knowing that they do have the ability to come in and meet face-to-face, and it's not, you know, the guarded gate, drawbridge, moat that used to exist to access town council. So
Nice.
people are liking it.
Yeah, you might want to give that feedback to Adam.
I have.
Good.
Then the trainings, we do have July 23rd. This will be for employees. All non-essential town offices will be closed to the public, so all employees and board committee members can attend. This is an active shooter awareness training. It'll be taking place in the Memorial Hall. And then on August 7th, boards and commissions, know your responsibilities, training from the Office of the Inspector General at the Littleton Police Department.
And that's similar to what Adam's going to be training on too. I looked at at what that was about.
Yeah.
It's talking about open meeting law and ethics and,
Yeah, a little bit more in the procurement, from the procurement perspective. but it
so
definitely
if
touches on
people
those.
miss the other one,
And we intend to videotape, as we did the last couple trainings we had with Copeland and Page. So we'll videotape the sessions that we have and be able to run them and have them available online. So if people do miss them, they can at least access the information.
and for the public to understand, on the 23rd, the town hall is going to be closed.
Correct.
Okay, so at least the morning.
Correct.
Anything else?
No, Madam Chair, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me, Jim?
Yeah.
Will you be needing my help to videotape that?
When we get that far, we'll definitely talk with you about it, but most likely.
Okay, thank you. Just keep me informed.
Thank you.
Okay, 4.3, Board of Selectmen's announcements, updates, and reports. We have one that didn't officially come to us from the town clerk yet.
Right.
But my understanding is that it has gone to the town clerk, and that is, we have a school committee resignation. John Page resigned from the school committee. So the Townsend, one of the Townsend members reached out and wanted to know what's the process. Process is just, it needs to be posted.
Correct.
How long does it need to be posted for?
The charter provides that it needs to be posted for 10 days. The school district agreement may say something different. I wasn't able to put my hands on it between when the superintendent texted me the information just before the meeting and the meeting starting. So at a minimum, it's 10 days. And if the district agreement says something longer, then obviously we would abide by that because that would be the governing document. So if the board please this evening a vote to post the vacant position of school committee member for the North Middlesex Regional School District, and then we can at least start that clock ticking.
Could you make sure as well that you have a copy from the town clerk?
Absolutely.
Okay, so pending that, motion to,
I make, excuse me, I make a motion that we post the opening for the North Middlesex School Committee vacancy.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And could you get back, I forwarded you the email from Susan Robbins. Can you just answer?
Absolutely.
So she'll know that she doesn't really have to do an awful lot. Because as I remember it, let's say that 3 people apply by filling out a volunteer form. You collect those and distribute them, and then the other Townsend members join us in a joint meeting,
Correct.
and we nominate someone.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen it done where you give each of the 3 people an opportunity to take a couple of minutes and explain what their interest is in the committee and their qualifications, and then somebody puts somebody to nomination.
Okay.
Vote it out.
All right, so if you could just explain that process.
I will.
We haven't done that for a while with the school committee. And we talked about the Police National Night Out, which is the 6th?
6th, correct.
6 to 8:30 p.m. at the high school.
Thank you. Clerk announcements, you have some there.
Outside of the one we just did, the National Night Out, we also have the North Middlesex Regional High School Giving Tree will host the Townsend Military Band's Thursday night, July 18th concert on the Common. The Giving Tree is a nonprofit program run by the high school students to assist families experiencing serious financial difficulties in Ashby, Pepperell, and Townsend by providing a joyful holiday season for their children. The Giving Tree program annually sponsors 300 boys and girls ranging in age from infancy to 18 years of age. They are providing with toys, clothes for the holiday, and addressing both the needs and the wants. In addition to the holiday gifts, organizations collect funds for fuel assistance and food baskets for the local families in need. And they'll be doing most everything that you have at the lawn parties every year. And let's hope that they have a better
I know.
Thursday night than most people have had the last few.
Well, at this point, I think Thursday night's supposed to
It's
be
supposed to
okay.
be,
Well,
hurricane-
Thursday morning, maybe not so great, but maybe by the evening it'll be. I know we've gotten a couple of rainouts.
They've had 3 so far.
3,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, do we have any others? No?
That's all I had.
Okay. Board correspondence, review request from Townsend Water Department regarding auditor. We got something from July 2nd from Paul Rayfuse. I don't quite understand what this is asking for that's different, or,
The auditors, when they come in, this is a request that when the auditors come in for auditing fiscal 19 audit process, that they physically visit the water department. That's a request coming in from Superintendent Rayfuse. The auditors will select a number of departments that they'll physically go visit. It's not every department, because the majority of their work is looking at the accounting and financial records here in this building. So I think what Paul's saying is, can we be one of those that's physically visited? I'm not certain the underlying reason for the request, but that's what the request is.
I have a problem with it.
Problem with it, no?
No, I think it's good.
Do you need us to vote on it, or you take care of
No,
that?
we can take care of that. yeah.
Okay. 4.6, review and approve meeting minutes from May 21st.
I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from May 21st, 2019.
I'll second that. Do we have any questions, changes? I noticed 3.6 is crossed out because we got rid of that one, right?
Correct.
That one didn't get taken up on the original. Okay. I'm fine with it. You?
Yep, I'm fine.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4.7, review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants.
Make a motion that we sign out of session the bills payable and payroll warrants.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Executive session. 5.1, executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position or litigating position, and the chair so declares, which she does, regarding strategy session for all union and personal contract negotiations. And then a second one, 5.2, executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel regarding police chief. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion we adjourn to executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to the collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have detrimental effect to the bargaining position or litigation position, and the chair so declares, reference to strategy sessions for all union and personnel contract negotiations, and also executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy session in preparation for negotiation with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining session or contract negotiation with non-union personnel, reference to the police chief, and to adjourn from executive session and not return to meeting.
Okay, and I will second that. This requires a roll call.
Don Klein, aye.
And Sulicio, aye. That will do it for this